Right after we kind of knew something terrible was happening to Taylor, his friend called and told us that he was using heroin. At that moment, I think I went numb, and I thought, heroin's the worst drug there is, and I was just frightened that my son was going to die. When your kids are little, you know, you can fix their boo-boos, but when they're a drug addict, you can't. Yay!
So when I was about 8 years old, I started having problems with anxiety, panic attacks, and depression. And basically, that fueled starting to medicate with drug and alcohol when I was about 13 years old. When I got into high school, it just fueled my addiction because I had wanted to do it on a daily basis because I loved it so much.
I and my husband both, we were thinking that it was just a phase, you know, he's a boy, he'll test out marijuana and then he'll quit. But he didn't quit.
I can't tell you why I did heroin. Once I did it though, everything shifted. Heroin was the #1 goal, and it was the only goal.
I started becoming more hopeless as time continued. He was pulling away from family.
Pretty quickly, it was noticeable, and my parents found out, and then I ended up in my first 30-day treatment center at 17.
Addiction is all-consuming. Everything else vanishes. It's a vacuum. 2.5 million people went into drug and alcohol treatment programs, and over 2.2 million of those same individuals will require treatment again, which means about 90% will fail. I've been addicted myself. I remember laying in my bunk at 10 o'clock on the third night in treatment, and I just started to cry. Just the weight just falling off me as I declared my need for Jesus and recommitted my life to him. So after completing my stay and my time there, I ended up working there for a number of years afterwards. During that time, I watched people come in broken, thrive in the structure of the program, and have the very best of intentions and walk back out the door, going from a high structure environment to no structure, and fall flat on their face over and over and over. And I cried. I love these individuals. I invested my life into these individuals, and individuals are walking back out the door with a true heart change, in my opinion, wanting to do right, but not knowing how to walk it out. And that's why we started Absolute. Absolute exists because people need limited structure after they get out of a highly structured environment. They can't go from the classroom to the war zone with no practice in the middle. So they come out of rehab and they come into our living environment. So we have houses where they live and are in community with other like-minded people who are going in the same direction, who have the same goal in mind. Not only to be clean and sober, but ultimately to pursue Jesus and filter every bit of life through the gospel. That's because without Jesus, we're banking on what we bring to the table. So are you accepted because of what you bring to the table? I hope not, because if you're anything like me, I don't bring a whole lot. I'm accepted because of what Jesus brings to the table. And at Absolute, that allows us to be fully known and fully accepted. And there's nothing better than that.
There was a couple guys that had went to Absolute that were in the program, and I knew that I needed something after this. I knew I wasn't going to be ready to just face a real world, get a job by myself, and just find my way into community. Absolute Ministries kept popping up, and I knew I wanted to be in a place where Jesus was preached and the gospel was spoken, and it was gospel-based. So these guys came out like 6 months into my program and did a presentation. I was like, yeah, I'm sold.
When guys come into Absolute, we get them entry-level work. It can be anything from warehouse work to landscaping to painting. And the goal is just to hit the ground running. They learn how to manage their money. We help them get involved in a local church, really let them become sustainable. Mentors are super important because it's how guys are grafted into the local church. Individuals come out of a highly structured rehab program, and though they want to follow Jesus, that happens best in community. At Absolute, our purpose is to get them connected with one individual who's in the church. We call that person their mentor. They become friends, they build a relationship, and by way of their mentor, they become grafted into the church. I have often wondered, is this gonna work out? Because we're up against what sometimes seems like a rock wall.
To be honest with you, I never thought I was gonna get off of drugs and alcohol. Now, I literally, I don't feel like it's me that beat the addiction. I feel like it was God.
Every single time, Jesus shows up and makes a way. It doesn't make sense, and it's not logical, and on paper, it doesn't work. Yet, here we are, we're helping so many individuals, and we're growing and thriving.